Hey guys, Matt here, and today I am back for day number 4 of r/ProRevenge, where today I actually have 3 stories lined up. Rarity, probably a bit of a rarity for this subreddit so far, but I'm pretty sure I'll come across a lot more short stories. Like this first one. Governor of Missouri takes money away from public defense office. Public defender realizes he can appoint any lawyer to be a public defender, and the governor is a lawyer. So there's been a between Missouri's office and of the public defender and the governor's office. Basically, due to budget problems, the public defense budget got cut by 8.5%. They sued the government in July over this. However, the director of the office of the public defender realized that they were empowered by a little-used law, specifically Missouri Code Section 600.042.5, to require any lawyer in the state to represent anyone who needs a public defender. They also realized that the governor of said state was a lawyer. This led to an amazing letter to the governor. What? I need to see this. While that's loading. Update. Response from the governor's office. Gov. Nixon has always supported indigenous criminal defendants having legal representation. That is why under his administration, the state public defender has seen a 50% increase in funding at the same time that other state agencies have had to tighten their belts, and full-time state employment has been reduced by 5,100. That being said, it is well established that the public defender does not have the legal authority to appoint private counsel. Well, site cannot be reached. Took too long. I really want to see what this letter was, but considering the site that's going to, I'm just gonna pass on that and move on to the next story. Hat tip to use this token username for noticing the response. Next up, pyramid scheme scammer ends up paying in the end. About 6 or 7 years ago, I was trying to enlist into the military. I ended up not joining, but that's a story for another time. At this point, I was led to believe I was about 4 months away from leaving for boot camp. I was running out of savings and needing a part-time job for some spending cash while I waited around. So I did what any enterprising 20-something would do, and searched Craigslist for jobs. I normally hate sales jobs, especially those based on commissions, but figured it'd be a great way to earn some extra cash short term. Found a few job listings that looked promising and put out some applications. A few days later, I received a call from David. He was opening up a new store and needed associates. He liked my resume and asked if I'd be available for an interview on Friday morning. I was very upfront with him and let him know that the distance was a bit more than I normally drive for a retail job, and asked what he was offering for an hourly rate to see if it was worth the drive. He told me that they were planning on offering an hourly rate in the mid-teens, along with commission. Seemed like an okay deal, so I agreed to be there Friday 8 a.m. Friday arrives as a cold, rainy day. I wear a nice shirt and tie and drive in heavy traffic to the address David provided. I knew the area from a previous job and eventually found the strip mall I was looking for. However, I'm not seeing any signage for the company name that was listed. There is, however, one empty space with no signage with 2 people inside. Okay, maybe I haven't got the store set up yet. No big deal. I had arrived early, knowing how bad traffic can be in that area. While in my car, I witnessed a young lady in business casual dress remove a sign from the window stating, Retail space for rent. Call 1-800 blah blah. Okay, a little weird, but maybe it's the first day in the space. I walk in about 5 minutes early, and immediately my BS meter goes from yellow to the highest level. Black watch plaid. The tables are all simple plastic folding tables, the kind college kids would buy for beer pong while on a shopping trip to Target. The walls are plastered with laminated charts featuring tons of dollar signs, smiling faces with stock photos, and an organizational chart showing an all too familiar shape. A pyramid. God damn it. Alright, might as well have fun for a while to wait out traffic going home. The young lady in the dress approaches me, introducing herself as Cindy. She welcomes me to company name and asks me to have a seat. She sat at her desk, another plastic table, and pretended to go through paperwork. However, she was really just shuffling papers around. We get to chatting, and I ask her how long she's worked for David. She said she's been his secretary for about 6 months, and that I'm going to love it here. Eventually, a guy walks out of the back office. Early 30s, clean cut, wearing an ill-fitting suit from JCPenney's. As he is walking over, all smiles, Cindy says, "Oh, Dennis, our newest recruit is here." The guy stops in his tracks and gives her a cold stare. "It's David, Cindy. We've been over this." He turns back to me and gives me his brightest, hard to find good help these days smile. David sits me down and welcomes me, saying that they are going to start with a group interview and has me sit down in a circle of chairs. Eventually, more people come in and sit down. David gets up and begins to thank us all for coming. He tells us about this exciting new opportunity from Cutco. He pulls out a set of knives and explains how with his company we can make as much money as we want, all while setting our own hours. He even pulls out a textbook saying about how this company's revolutionary tactics have been featured in college textbooks. He opened to a page, his hand covering parts of it, making sure we could clearly see the words Cutco in large letters on the page. Sad to say, a lot of the other interviewees were very impressed by this. One pregnant girl seemed very excited that she could work around her pregnancy and upcoming birth. David was going on and on about how much money he's made and how hard workers will rise to the top quickly. At this point, David said he needed to take a quick phone call and gave us 5 minutes to have some coffee, chit-chat, whatever. As he stepped away, he left his college textbook behind. Oops, so I picked it up, found the earmarked page, and read. As I thought, it was all about pyramid schemes, and it had Cutco as one of the largest examples. It goes on to talk about how these are essentially scams, not economically viable, etc. So I decided to share this with all the group. I explained how pyramid schemes work and how he's just scamming us. They seem incredulous. So I said when David gets back to ask them about what we need to pay to get started. That finally got everyone to realize what was going on. David walked in a few minutes later, and one of the girls in the group asked David what we need to get started. Well, all you need is your first set of knives to demonstrate. You can sell that on directly, or have them order another one and keep that as your demo kit. Doesn't matter, just have to pay the start fees for it. And that's when all hell broke loose. One kid started to get up and tell him to go fuck himself, saying he's wasting her time and he's an asshole for trying to pull this shit. The pregnant girl is crying because she thought she found a place that would allow her to work despite being pregnant. David is clearly confused and flustered, and asking who told them all this. When it comes apparent I'm the wrench in the machine, David gets upset and starts telling me to leave. People are yelling at David. David is yelling at me. Cindy is trying to tell everyone she's never met David before today and didn't know what this bullshit was. Eventually, we all walk out, leaving David behind. Wow, Cindy. I'm glad you admitted to that point. As I'm walking to the door, I see, leaning against the wall, the sign that was in the window before retail space for rent, call 1-800 blah blah. As I get into my car, I dial the number. Eventually, I get through to a person and ask about the property for rent at the location of David's company. The nice lady on the phone apologized, saying they just leased that property out. I asked if she knew how long the lease was for, as I was really interested in the property. She said she wasn't sure, they hadn't done the official paperwork yet. They were on their way to the space to sign everything with the lease holder in a few hours. I told her everything that had just happened to me and about David using the space for a pyramid scheme. She got extremely upset, saying that this stuff happens all the time in the industry. They'll go to sign, and last minute the leaseholder will decide to opt out after using it for some fly-by-night operation. She thanked me for the info, and I thought that was the end of that. Or so I thought. A few weeks later, I received an email from David telling me how I ruined his life, about how the property management found out about what was going on and weren't refunding his down payment on the space, saying he violated a clause in the paperwork he signed to hold the property. How he knew I was the one who called because I'm a terrible human being, etc., etc. Now he was out thousands for the space and supplies, how he only wanted to give us jobs and help us. It was a very long, very angry email with several things said about me and my mother. So I called 1-800 blah blah again, spoke with the same lady I did before, and she was very interested in an email from David where he essentially admitted to what he was trying to do. Said it would help them in all the legal proceedings. And you don't know I was more than happy to send that email along to her. Her lawyer said it should be an open and shut case at that point. I like to think I'm a helper. TLDR, because someone complained. Read the damn story or don't. Sometimes a story doesn't need a TLDR. But people are just like, where's the fucking TLDR? I'm gonna read the double edit. To everyone commenting that they are downvoting or not reading due to the TLDR, grow up, you dildos. It's an internet site of meaningless karma. Get over it. The internet in a nutshell right there. Meaningless karma for nothing. I'm not gonna end the episode here. We got one more story. Downstairs neighbors wouldn't turn down music. Nuked them from orbit. Was suggested the cross-post from r/malicious compliance. I was inspired by a recent post to tell my own bad neighbor story. Can't think of a better place to post it. Flashback to 2014 or so. Oh my gosh. I moved out on my own in 2013 and moved into an old house converted into a 2-floor apartment directly across from my future in-laws. The downstairs neighbors were loud, blaring music at all hours. Yes, all the hours. Wouldn't cut the grass or take out the trash on our shared schedule. Crappy neighbors, but never bothered me directly. The guy was pretty chill when sober and would turn down the music a little when I texted him. He was okay until his girlfriend moved in. Now add shouting matches to the mix, and all of a sudden my request to turn down the music makes him turn it up. I could barely walk on my super thin floor without her banging on the ceiling with a broom, just like... Like, what the fuck, bitch? I was okay since I was a heavy sleeper and could sleep through anything. My wife moved in and I quickly found out that she is quite the opposite. Van On turned at a certain angle in the doorway of the bathroom, door closed halfway, blackout curtains with them taped to the wall so zero light comes through, zero sounds other than the fan. You get the idea. I told her that we can't expect them to remain silent when she's ready for bed. We need to be reasonable, but the wall rattling music needs to stop during the night. She hated it during the day, but I told her there's nothing we can do then, so she would go to her parents' house a lot during the day. I talked to neighbor guy. He said, yeah man, that's cool. But it turns out the girlfriend wasn't having it and his attitude then changed to, "Yeah, well, it's our house, so you can go fuck yourself if you think you can tell us what to do, and you can move out if you don't like it." Something definitely had to change once she was pregnant, and then the baby came. So I did the only thing I could do. I fought fire with fire and maliciously complied with the law to the T. I could only report them for noise after 11 p.m. Now I forget the morning hour when the noise could start, but I believe it was 9 a.m. My dad has these huge concert speakers in his garage, professional grade, black leather bound, 5 feet tall, 3 feet wide, and a pretty nice vintage stereo/amp. He has 2, but my apartment was so small I sadly only had room for 1. We replaced the coffee table with this thing, laid face down onto our thin office carpet. Tired of his crap tunes, I tested this Geneva Convention breaking device when they weren't home. Holy cow! I had to take everything down from tables, counters, and shelves because they would shake off. I prepared audio files to feed the stereo. I was giddy like a kid with a new Christmas toy. I turned it on when I left for work and got my wife up to send her to her parents. I came home from work and hung out at her parents until it was close to bedtime. They resisted for 3 days. On day 2, I found a pile of manure on my doorstep, but it didn't faze me. I cycled between sine, saw, square waves in clashing chords, marching music, Washington Post march on loop, preaching clips. They weren't atheists, but outspoken anti-Christian, so it was a must. The most stupid songs you could think of. Captain Planet theme song, Chicken Dance. If I heard that, I would not, that would not be annoying to me. This old house rattled in ways I didn't think possible. The vibrations from the sine wave would make your vision blur. I eventually got a text from him that read, "Sorry man, you can stop now." I did not. He needed a few more days to let it sink in. Plus, I had so much fun putting it together. They complained to the police and the landlord. There was nothing they could do since I wasn't doing anything wrong. I didn't even hear music during the time of peace to follow. It was so quiet. They would build up their courage and try again every few weeks when I wasn't home, but my wife was. I then showed her how to tame the beast so she could let loose while I was away. I had to give them a spanking every now and then, but they learned. They were so happy when we moved out. He's just like, "Okay, speaker." Boo. It's like, "Take this music, bitch." And there's no TLDR. Oh my goodness. Just sound. I'm going to end this episode here. Links will be in the description to my main channel and also the second channel that you're on right now. That has links to the playlist and the last episode. Go check them out. It is crazy how many episodes I've done in the space of 3 months. And I'm in the 4th month now. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, a ding. I'm the Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.